Good day, all, and welcome to another edition of Local Legislator Live at 11. 11 o'clock means 11 in the morning, not 11 o'clock at night. We are live here on Facebook, Local Legislator Live at 11. This is a service through locallegislator.net, where our mission is to be the premier source of local election information in the United States and an advocate for the sustainability of local businesses nationwide. Our guest this morning is none other than Kim Sudderth. She is the Virginia organizer for Mothers Out Front, a nonprofit entity here in Virginia and other places, I would imagine, but we're going to find out. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Charles. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Let's get right into this. How did
Absolutely.
you learn about Mothers Out Front, and how long have you been a member of the organization or a part of the organization?
I learned about Mothers Out Front in 2016, early 2016. I was recruited to basically launch Mothers Out Front in Virginia. We originally started with just two moms in 2013 who were really concerned about climate change after watching the movie An Inconvenient Truth. So we grew from two moms in 2013, and then in 3 years later, they decided to launch in Virginia, specifically in Hampton Roads, because of our susceptibility to sea level rise and storm surges. So that's when I started organizing in Hampton Roads.
And can you share with us the mission and values of Mothers Out Front?
Absolutely. Well, our Mothers Out Front, our mission is to build power as mothers to ensure a livable climate for all children. It's super short and super sweet and to the point.
Okay. And easy to repeat as well.
Yes.
Now, how large is Mothers Out Front, and are you just in Virginia? I heard you say earlier that you were tasked to start a chapter here in Hampton Roads. How big is Mothers Out Front?
Well, like I said, we started out in Massachusetts with two moms, and since February of 2013, we've grown from Massachusetts to New York, Virginia, North Carolina, Missouri, California, Michigan, Ohio, Colorado, New Hampshire, Alabama, and Washington State. And so we went from two moms to 3,400 members. I'm sorry, let me repeat that, 34,000 members in the last 7 years or so. So we started in organizing in Virginia in 2016. And coincidentally, even in Virginia, we started with two moms, myself and one other volunteer. And her name happens to be Kim as well. We used to tell people, you don't have to be named Kim in order to be a member of this. But we were really excited, and there was a lot of just like on the ground meeting people and talking a lot and handing out a lot of brochures. And so we've been able to grow in Virginia from two moms to 3,000 in the last 4 years.
That's
I want to add also that we've got over just about 3,000 members, and we have official team chapters in Northern Virginia, Richmond, Southwestern Virginia, and obviously Hampton Roads.
Now, you are a grassroots organization. I heard you sending out brochures and pamphlets. How active is Mothers Out Front in the community?
Well, that's the basis of the work that we do. Like you said, with grassroots, we're not grass tops where we tell our members what to do. We go out into the community and ask our members, like, what is your greatest concern right now concerning climate change? For many people, part of it is the education aspect of how climate change is affecting them directly. For many people, they know that they've lost 2 or 3 cars in the last few years because of tidal flooding. Well, that's climate change. There are plenty of people who are concerned about proposed fossil fuel infrastructures like a pipeline or a compressor station that emit toxic pollution into the air and foul up their water. That is also part of what is affecting people on the ground in their communities. So we start very close to the ground, again, even to the neighborhood level, getting people active in protecting their families, protecting where they themselves and their families live, work, and play, and worship. So we are very active, and especially now with COVID-19, that's kind of limited our outward facing activity, but we're still just as active as before. We've been very supportive of racial equity, especially with plenty of, and actually this did bring us out into the street, where we host vigils in support of Black Lives Matter. We've also been very active even during this stay-at-home order, the previous stay-at-home order of resisting new fossil fuel infrastructure like the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, which just recently Dominion and Duke Energy announced that they were canceling that project. We were very excited about that. We and many other allies throughout the state were very active in keeping the drumbeat going, resisting this unnecessary and predatory piece of fossil fuel infrastructure, as well as the header project by Virginia Natural Gas, which they were denied or at least delayed a very important permit. And so a lot of it is just about mobilizing mothers and grandmothers, and you don't have to be a mother, just even if you're a caretaker and they're just children in your life that you care about. We're just most concerned about having a livable future for our children and for all children. And so while we're resisting new fossil fuel infrastructure, we're also promoting renewable energy, sustainable energy. So we've been contacting our local legislature, requesting that they support the Virginia Green New Deal, which I'm sure we can get into that a little bit later. But so we're on the one hand resisting dirty fossil fuel infrastructure, but then on the other hand, we're also promoting clean, renewable, and sustainable energy.
Okay. Understanding our site, locallegislator.net, we are strictly nonpartisan and
So are we.
unbiased. So good. But we encourage your opinions on all matters above. Now, your website encourages joining a local team. What does that
Yes.
look like and how is that done?
Super easy. What you could do is go to our website, which is va.mothersoutfront.org, and there are a couple of buttons that you press, and you say you want to join a local team, and then you find a city that we're currently organizing in. And right now we're in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and in Chesapeake, in Hampton Roads specifically, but throughout the state you'll find other chapters that you can join. If you don't see a chapter in your area, please consider starting one of your own. So I get a notification, and more than likely I or one of our volunteer moms will give you a call, and just like that. So it's not that hard, and we're learning a lot. I can tell you, even though I've been doing this work for several years now, I'm not an expert. This is just about moms who are motivated to protect our children and their future. So we're not looking for pipeline experts or renewable energy scholars. We're really just looking for moms who are just interested in clean air, clean water, and safe places for their children.
Okay. Now, to our listeners, if you like this interview, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, connect with us on Twitter and Instagram, and like our Facebook page. Remember to leave us a comment telling us who or what you would like to hear from. And we will do our best to get that person or those issues addressed for you. Now, Kim, how does your organization interact with elected officials, especially at the state and local levels?
Yeah, so as we've been growing over the last several years, like I said, we started out super local. Our first campaign was actually to get a school bus for children who on rainy days had to walk through thigh-deep water to get to school. And so we worked with the local school system to arrange for a bus to take them to school. So that's super local level, right? As we've been building power, which means gaining more and more mothers, right? We've been scaling upward to ask for support from our city, like on the municipal level. And here recently, we've been meeting with even state legislatures, our delegates and state senators. And we spent some time this past January at the General Assembly, really speaking to our local legislators about the importance of protecting our climate, protecting our air and food and water, and in a way, lobbying, if you will. And I think that it's been hugely successful, if nothing else, just to meet our legislators, tell our personal stories about how here recently, one of our mothers, she's a school teacher, and she had talked about a young man that was in her class, and he had asthma, and he spent some time on the bus, right? Like, you got to get to school. And one day after school, he had a severe asthma attack, and unfortunately, he did not survive it. And we have been asking our state legislature for electric school buses, which significantly reduces emissions and quite possibly could help save a child's life. And we share these stories. These stories, our legislature might not hear, maybe not in this way, very personal stories. And we're hoping that that's actually, we're banking on that is how real change happens.
Okay. Now, here at Local Legislator Live at 11, we interview both for-profit businesses and not-for-profit organizations. Have you found any limitations being a nonprofit entity, and how can businesses be a part of Mothers Out Front if they choose to?
Our only limitation, we are a nonprofit, absolutely. We're listed as a 501c3, and as such, we cannot endorse any candidate. And that's okay, because as far as we're concerned, anyone, whether they have an R or a D or an I behind their name, anyone can support the health and well-being for our children. So our only limitation is that we can't actually endorse candidates. And that's okay. Like, this is our time at the state legislature. We cast a wide net, and we were all up and down the halls and the different floors meeting with all of our representatives. But as far as if businesses wanted to support, I highly encourage it. They can do it through obviously charitable donations. But we also, when we have different activities where we have throughout the year, we have different campaigns. Sometimes we have postcard campaigns where we're asking for support for different initiatives like the Virginia Green New Deal, or just for a city to commit to renewable energy in the future. With the Global Covenant of Mayors, they're always welcome to sign a petition, join us in a vigil or a rally. We wouldn't turn them away.
Okay, now you mentioned rallies. In this COVID environment, how was that affecting your grassroots efforts?
Very much so. At Mothers Out Front, we're committed to organizing over differences, including race, class, social economic differences, and we want to center the voices of those mothers who would be affected by climate change first and worst. Most often, there would be in communities of color, Black communities, Indigenous communities, as well as in those who are in low wealth communities. In this particular climate right now, meeting in person is often, in some cases, prohibited, and especially in large groups. So we've been relying on technology, like we're doing right now with our video call. And for many of the people that we want to talk to, they may not have access to internet. They may have, and maybe not computer savvy, and may not necessarily be comfortable with this format. So, we just had to go analog more often than not, and pick up the phone and call people and just, check in with them. Find out, even in this time, even though our original focus has been on climate change, as it affects children, but our primary goal is to help and support moms and as they protect their children. So we've been having, many of our members have been participating in mutual aid efforts with getting food and those staple items to other mothers and supporting each other during this crisis.
Okay. Kim, my last question for you is, I know you do a lot of outreach. Now, how do people get in touch with you?
Oh, okay. Well, you can reach me by email. My email is kim.sudderth, and I'll spell that SUDDERTH at mothersoutfront.org. You can call or text me at 757-817-1806. And you can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Okay. So you're not hard to get in touch with.
I'm not hard to get in touch with. I shouldn't be, right?
No. Well, thank you so much, Kim, for this enlightening talk and for us to get to know more about you and your organization's Mothers Out Front. I would imagine not too many people, a lot of people don't know about these different grassroots nonprofits that are doing work in the communities. And this is the reason we like to have people like you as guests to enlighten our listeners of the different opportunities there are out there for them if they
Well, I want to
choose to
thank you
partner.
for inviting me to join you this morning. I appreciate the support in that outreach. And I
Thank you.
think it's
Well,
programs like this that we absolutely need. We can support each other.
that's definitely true. And if you are listening out there, you heard what Kim says, support her, support me, and just to get the word out there, help us with local legislator live at 11. We do come to you every day, Monday through Friday, live at 11 in the morning. When we are through locallegislator.net, where our mission is to be the premier source of local information, local elected information in the United States, and an advocate for the sustainability, especially in this day and age, of local businesses nationwide. We also, as you can see, we also feature at least one nonprofit entity per week, every week. We interview elected officials as well as business leaders and community heads. We can be found on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Please leave us a comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you'd like to see and hear of more. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and most importantly, like our Facebook page and go to our site, locallegislator.net. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much, Kim. And listen, continue the work you do out there. Again, we at locallegislator.net, we are strictly nonpartisan, so we don't form an opinion which way or another, but we do like to have guests who do have different opinions, and just to get the information out there, because our mission and goal is to provide fact-based information to our listeners. So thank you again, Kim Sudderth. Again, thank you, listeners, and then we will see you tomorrow. And remember, we're not global, we're local. Locallegislator.net, and this is Local Legislator live at 11. I'm your host, Charles Gates. Take care. Kim, you enjoy your day. Bye.
You too. Thank you.